And welcome in to Tennessee Tuesday. It's Tuesday, March the 3rd. We are in a brand new month, and this year is just flying right on by, and we've got a great show lined up for you tonight, and we are so glad that you are here with us. My co-host, Jason Moshier, is here with us this evening, and Mr. Jordy Barnett is going to be our guest tonight. We'll be talking about the Tennessee Division reunion that's coming up a little bit over a month from now in Morristown. We'll have you all the details with that coming up and lots more on this edition of Tennessee Tuesday. So a little programming note, guys, as we get started here. Sometimes the software doesn't like video and audio, and tonight is the night it doesn't like it. So bear with us if you see some jitteriness to the video. We're going to make it through that tonight. But we are glad you're here with us. And Jason, let's go ahead and pop up our disclaimer this night, if you would. We'll go ahead and tell you that these opinions are our own this evening that are expressed on this podcast. They're not those of the SCV. It's GEC, any divisions, brigades, camps, and any others associated with the SCV. These are only our opinions tonight. So we are glad you're with us. Again, hope you've had a wonderful Tuesday. Gentlemen, it's beautiful here in West Tennessee today. We're still at 65 degrees. What's it like in your way, Jason?
It's about the same. It's 64, 65, something like that. Yes. And it was a great day.
Yeah, it's been a pretty day. Jordy, what's happening up that way in East Tennessee? What's it like up there?
We finally got a break from all the snow, and we're finally getting the frogs are croaking, and I can hear them outside right now. And we're all, us on the farm, we're all excited. We got baby lambs being born, and now they're finally enjoying some spring weather, and I'm hoping it's here to stay.
Yeah, hopefully so. I'm ready for these nice days that we've got. We got a few of those, a little bit of rain in store. And I've already had a question tonight. A Facebook message to me and asked us to talk about the Confederate Flag Day and retirement ceremony that's coming up in Chapel Hill this weekend on Saturday. We will talk a little bit about that tonight, give you the details, but we are watching that forecast. At last I looked earlier today, there was a 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. So we're probably going to have a change to that, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in tonight's show. Let's say hello to a few folks that are joining in this evening. Jason, of course, Derek Glover's. He was our first on tonight. He gets the prize. Jason, tell me, what is the prize that he wins tonight?
He gets to sit and watch the screen jitter when we put the show on.
Well, man, what a great prize he got. Derek Glover with us tonight. Also, hello to some other folks. Gentleman here, help me on his name, Mr. Harsey from Lexington, South Carolina. We're glad he's here. Looks like a new viewer with us this evening commenting tonight. So hello to him. Also, Mr. Daniel Brooks, who is a regular viewer of the show. We're glad he's here from Kentucky. Hope all is well up that way. Saw some of our Kentucky folks this past weekend up in Union City. Also, hello to Johnny Jenkins there from Springfield, Missouri, Camp 632. Glad he's here with us again this evening. Our friend Al is joining us tonight from Tullahoma, as he's here each and every show. We do appreciate all of our faithful viewers that are with us each week and new folks that are joining regular. Mr. Chuck Roydhouse, who we also saw this weekend, me and Jason did, up in Union City with the Hatton Camp. Of course, he is now part of the McLemore Brigade as the lieutenant commander of the brigade. So got to see him on Saturday. Daniel joining us tonight as well. Hello to him. Also, Kim from down there in Jacksonville, Florida, here tonight as always. Host of our Wednesday night show, Mr. Sean McFall with Look Around Florida. He's here tonight. I'm sure he'll be on with you tomorrow night at 7 o'clock here on SCV Chat. A couple of more we'll say hello to tonight. Rich Garcia, our lieutenant commander of the Tennessee Division from Gainesboro here this evening. Rich is a busy man. We've been getting ready for the division reunion, which we're going to be talking about tonight, getting the award stuff together. Man, it's going to be a great award ceremony this year. And thanks to all those that submitted for awards. David Pope, beautiful evening on the other end of the Longstreet Brigades in Knoxville. Of course, David has a show on Friday night. We'll be talking about that show as well. Steve Reed joining us as well from down in southern West Tennessee. And he's right. It has been a beautiful day. Mr. LeRae joining us from, I'm guessing he's back home in Louisiana right now. Glad to have him here with us. I know he's been out traveling a lot. And he has been on the show of SCV Chat about his campaign. And I know all these are coming up. We'll be talking more about some of the shows and folks that we've got lined up. Also, Ryan Rogers joining us tonight from the Alabama Division. Floyd Harvey, of course, coming in from Hot Springs, Arkansas. And one more, Jason, we'll get in here before we get into some discussion tonight. Ray Walton there. Joining us from Virginia. So hello to all those folks. We like to get those comments on the show and let you be a part of this program. Well, I've said enough to get us started tonight. Jason, I'm going to let you jump in and give us some words of wisdom.
Oh, that's why we have Jordy. So Jordy's going to have our words of wisdom tonight because he's going to be filling in. He's going to be filling in for us, giving us all these great details about our upcoming Tennessee Division reunion. And it's just, 6 weeks away?
Yeah. It is coming here. It seems just like yesterday it was brought to our meeting. We were all told that we were having a reunion, and now it's here. So if you're next in line to have the reunion, it'll be here before you know it. So you've been warned.
Absolutely. Well, I know you've got a lot of work you've done on this, and we're going to break that down coming up in a little bit tonight. We also have some other news that we need to talk about that we'll go through, some things happening in the Tennessee Division. But notice a little change on your screen if you're a regular viewer tonight, changing up some of the graphics and layout tonight. You'll see our logo there that's modified just a little bit now at the top of your screen, and our slogan that we've come up with here, from battlefields to courthouse squares, because it's our history to tell. The history of the Southern soldier and of the South. It's our story. It's our ancestors. We have a right to tell their story, and we will do that on this program and all of the programs that you hear on the SCV Chat Network. So we're glad to be a part of that. And again, gentlemen, we're glad you are here with us this evening. Lots of things to talk about. So let's kind of jump in with our guest tonight, Jordy Barnett. And Jordy, kind of tell me a little bit about, we'll kind of break it down like this, learn a little bit about you, and then we'll take our first break and then talk all about the Tennessee Division for folks that may not know you, tell the viewers tonight, who is Jordy Barnett and what's your role in the SCV and the camp up there?
Well, my name is Jordy Barnett. I am 32 years old. I am the commander of the Bradford Rose SCV Camp 1638, Morristown, Mossy Creek, Tennessee. I've been a member, I think, officially for 10 years now. And one of my biggest projects about 5 years ago, I think right when they were tearing everything down and we were during COVID, my big project, I said I got tired of hitting the angry button on Facebook, and we finally decided to try to put up our own monument, which is becoming a reality soon. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone come to Morristown to the reunion and hopefully get to meet everyone that I only get to see through social media. And I come to the General Longstreet Museum. I'm also a board member there for the Lakeway Civil War Preservation Association. We want you to come see what all your money from the division has went to preserve this great piece of history in our corner of the state.
Yeah, well, you've been working hard. I know that monument project. You're so excited to see that finally come to fruition and be completed. You've worked on that for, as you said, several years, and seeing the photographs coming up. It's exciting. Not very rarely do you get to go to a division reunion, and I've never been to one where we've been able to dedicate a Confederate monument. So that's really exciting.
Yeah, we're hoping it all goes well. Right now, everything's going according to plan. We should have everything finished. We have a gentleman who he actually volunteered to fix we have a UDC marker that was our UDC chapter. The Sam Davis UDC chapter just celebrated their 10-year rechartering anniversary. And they had a marker that was put up in the 20s and actually featured the Confederate veteran back then. And we relocated it onto the museum property. We're hoping to be able to release the photos of that soon. But while we were working on ours, we went ahead and helped theirs. It's the only time we support relocating a monument. It was in a dark corner where you couldn't see it, and now it's going to be right there on the main road at the museum. And the gentleman actually just redone the plaque, so it's all shiny and brand new. And when he's there putting it back on, he's going to bring his equipment, and we're going to raise Zeb and put him back on his permanent home.
Nice work. Well, Jordy, let's tell folks about how you got involved in the SCV. Where did your interest in history spark, and how did you learn about it? What got you involvement there?
I've always liked history, something old. Everyone says I've had an old soul, but when museum wasn't always a museum, it was a home. It stayed in the family for many years, the Nenny family. And then it was an antique store. And my mama would take us to school, and we would pass this house all the time. And there was the historical marker. And I was like, what is the Civil War? Who is Longstreet? So I started learning a little bit through that. And she took me to my first Civil War reenactment, and it was there at Bethesda Cemetery. And that's where I finally got the goosebumps of, oh, something happened here. And if it's enough for someone to put up a marker, then I need to be paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And so at a young age, it was kind of like, okay, this is something important. And it's that first time I actually got to see HK. We lost a great brother here recently. My grandmother purchased my first battle flag, and it was just then when they were trying to raise money for the museum. The next time we visited, they finally got the museum started. The upstairs wasn't finished. I was actually taking my Memo to her cancer treatments, and we visited. And by the next time I got to visit, she had passed away. And so the museum has always been a special place in my heart. I had my wedding shower there. I've volunteered there. I just kept showing up. And then the lady, Linda, who was working in the museum, she said, you need to join the SCV. And I've always heard about the organization. They've been around in our community. And so finally, when they started tearing things down after the horrible shooting in South Carolina, I said, well, it's about time to do something. So then I got to meet a good friend of mine now, Kevin Witherell, and he did my paperwork. And they pretty much nailed my feet to the floor and said, okay, now you're going to become an officer. And now this is going to be your life for the next 10 years. And now it keeps going. And it seems like in a blink of an eye, it's already passed, and now I'm commander, and we're seeing our camp grow, and it's just. But I've always liked history, and once again, I just think that if it's important enough for someone to put up a marker, it's important enough for us to pay attention to it.
Absolutely. And a comment here from Rich Garcia talking kind of the same lines as you come in. You've been given a role. You've got to do this. It's our story. It's our heritage, our history, our war, our legends. And like putting up this monument, we're honoring those. We talk about here in West Tennessee, Jordy, that General Forrest, because he was living in this area, living in the Memphis area and the raids here, he's larger than life. So we have to tell these stories, because if not, they'll fade away. And what you guys do up there at the Longstreet Museum is part of that. It's telling those stories and keeping them alive. And Derek Glover says here, doing great up there. Love the Bradford Rose Camp and the Lakeway Preservation Association. So folks are seeing the work you're doing, Jordy, and it's making a difference.
That's the thing. I mean, you just got to try to do what you can. I think people see, as for me, when I would see all these monuments fall down, I'm like, well, I can't do a big project like this. And unfortunately, we kind of already defeat ourselves. We see all this stuff happening, and it's like, my little effort's not going to help. And it's easier to destroy than it is to build, but building's a whole lot better. And so I was just kind of like you that. I was like, you know what? We're going to try something. If I fail, I fail. So I called Mike. I said, Mike, I can buy a monument for about $4,000. And if I can buy it, can I put it up in the front yard? He said, if you can do it, we'll find a plot for you. Well, 5 years later, he had to find me a plot. And I'd like to once again thank Monuments Across Dixie for the absolute amazing work. I could not have hired an artist to sculpt a bronze statue. And I'm telling you, if you think it's easy to put these things together or re-put them together, you go ahead and try, because it does take a lot. Once again, it's easier to destroy than it is to build. But we're just trying to kind of shine a light, and where they're doing so much construction right there at the road, this monument's going to be seen by thousands of people a day. I think our population in Morristown, Hamilton County has boomed and everything, and now they're going to be able to see this monument every day and say, "This, we're here. We're not in the past. Proud Southerners, we are here, and this is home."
And it shows it still that our history is still relevant. And again, it's on this same thing we're talking about. If we don't do anything, it's forgotten about. Nobody knows about it. We're showing it matters by putting up new monuments and taking care of the ones that are there, and going out to different events and being seen. It's keeping our ancestors' name in the forefront. And, during the love time of 2020 and even back before that, they were talking a lot about that, say their name. That's exactly what we're doing. We're saying our ancestors' names. We're not letting these stories that have been passed down be forgotten.
Yeah, my ancestor was Jacob White, 61st Tennessee Infantry Company C, and he's buried just down the road from the museum, and he was a POW, and he was so sick they actually let him go home, and he was able to recover, and his wife was able to get a widow's pension because they were just so poor. And I've got two more ancestors I'm trying to locate up in Virginia. I know one's Elijah Barnett. And so we've got family all the way back from this area. And, that's what I also want people to do. We're going to work out where we can have a wreath ceremony if time permits. But I want everyone to touch this monument and say your ancestor's name, or say your fellow SCD members that's passed away's name, because that's what it's for. Our little Monument Avenue is a combination of old and new, our new monument and then our UDC monument. And I'm hoping it'll grow and more people say, like, I want to put a marker up, and we're going to fill that whole side of the museum just with markers and just put a big old arrow to come see our museum and learn true history.
And I like what you said there, Jordy. Reach out and put your hand on it, say your ancestor's name, because this monument is also a monument for each individual soldier. I see it and say, well, this was created after this, but I think of it honors my ancestor. It honors Jason's. It honors yours by putting these up. We remember all of the Confederate soldiers.
That was asked recently because we're planning on the goal is to have banners hanging on each side of the monument, and one's going to have an SCB banner. One we're hoping to have local and national battles, and one's going to have all the states named. And it's going to look like how they used to decorate the monuments when they dedicate them. It's going to be these large banners hanging off the side. And so the guy that it was Callie at the museum was saying, "What's this monument? What are you fully saying this is dedicated to?" And I was like, "It's for, as it says on it, the boys who wore the gray." So I want everyone. We might not have had Florida boys in this area at that time, but I want someone who comes from Florida to feel like the boys in Tennessee are my sister as well. This is for all the monuments that have been torn down, all the graves that are unmarked, everybody. That's what our monument's going to be. It's for them all. Black, white, red, yellow, all the soldiers, every race, religion. If they fought for the South, this is their monument.
Man, what a great work you've done up there, Jordy. And as you said, it took some time to get it done, but you stayed on the case. You've been persistent. You've been consistent. You've stayed there and made sure it's happened. And you're seeing the fruits of that labor now. And I know it's not about you. It's clearly about our ancestors by just hearing you talk tonight. And what an honor just to be a part of something like this. We think about those ones from the early 1900s that the UDC put up all over the South. We're getting to experience some of that feeling they had back then when the veterans were still here. They're gone now, but they live forever through these. We can feel it's like we're going back in time to celebrate that. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, that's something I wanted. We're trying to figure out. We want to put bunting on the windows of the museum, and I want it to look like you're stepping back in time, and just like we're dedicating this back like we're in the 20s. I want it to give that feel. I want it to be like if you turn your back, you can see a veteran. I got goosebumps when I think about it. But I want us all to leave there like we've achieved something. And I want people to know, if you donated $1 to this project, your dollar is appreciated. This might have took a while, but if you've ever done a large monument project, you understand why. We started this right with COVID. I was actually sitting with COVID, quarantined with my whole family, and I was seeing the Jackson Monument being torn down. And this was a monument that I saw every year. We went to Lee Jackson Day, and when it was like, I just got tired of pressing the angry face on the Facebook. I said, that's not doing nothing. So I contacted our good friends at Monuments Across Dixie, and they had one more of the Durham, North Carolina monuments. And I said, how much do I need to put this on loan? I said, I need to get him. And he said, he's yours. Just get the money. And then through the division's help and through people donating 20 bucks at a time, we got him. And then finally, we've got the base set, and we're just finishing the touches, and it will be done by the reunion, and everyone will finally get to see the fruits of our labor. And, it might take you some time to do a project, but I'm telling you, people, do not give up. Do not let it kind of worry you, and don't let any naysayers. We're our own worst enemy. People say it'll never get done, or why are you wasting your time doing this project? If it's for our ancestors, it's not a waste of time.
Absolutely. You're exactly right. Well, Jordy Barnett is our guest this evening. He's the camp commander of the Bradford Rose Camp in Morristown, and we're talking about the new monument that's going to be dedicated during the Tennessee Division reunion in April. And we're going to come back and take our first break. Jordy, if you'll hang around with us, we're going to talk more about the activities at the division outside of the monument dedication, and we'll do that coming up in just a moment. But let's say hello to a few more folks. So there are a lot of folks listening and watching with us tonight, Jason, and we want to shout out to some of those folks. And if I miss somebody and don't get it on the screen, my apologies tonight. We are going to try to get through all of these. And again, here we want to say hello to Mr. Randy, who is with us from Pensacola, Florida. We're glad he's joining tonight. Let's see. Also, others here. Steve Reed commenting on the new logo. Thanks, Steve. I hope you like that. And trying to be creative and add some new things, as you can see us ever changing, as we want to make this program even better and make it as professional as possible. Let's see here. Now, Derek Glover, he may be commenting to somebody else's stuff up through there. Pickled mater. So we want a pickled tomato. He's commenting to something. Maybe I missed that part, but making me hungry. I hadn't had supper yet this evening, gentlemen. Rich Garcia, of course, there. It's all or nothing. We've talked about that a moment ago. Let's see. Others. Tom Wood is joining us here tonight. Of course, there at the camp commander in Lebanon at the General Hatton camp. Very, very busy camp. Always have something going on. They've got events coming up too, and we'll talk about that a little more later on. Also, Todd joining us this evening from the California division out west. Glad to have him here again tonight. David Daniels jumping in there from Gainesboro, saying howdy to us tonight. Hope he's well. Him and Lydia doing good tonight. Also, Amanda just got to see this past Saturday, Jason. We got to see Kyle Thompson there. He is the Kentucky division commander. I think he's going on 42 terms or something like that. He said it's Kentucky division commander. I'm picking at him, but he does a great job there, of course, and we're always glad to see him. And we're working on a project that'll officially be released. He mentioned it, so I'm assuming it's okay to say it. In early August, we'll be meeting at Fort Donelson again there, the Battlefield Park, and we're going to have a commemoration service at the Confederate Monument. And we'll announce that date and more details here in the coming weeks as the Kentucky division and the Tennessee division for sure are going to be partnering together on this and others as well. Let's see, also joining us tonight, Mr. James Price. Saw JR on Saturday as well in Union City, and a great time, and a shout out to Brigade Commander Barry Sowell and the work he's done up there to have a great time. Jason, you spoke, and when Jason Boshear's name is on the roll to speak, it's always going to be fantastic. You have it scripted so well, Jason, and you stay in your notes just perfect.
Well, that's what I try to do is, read what I want to say. Yes.
It was a great presentation on Saturday. A couple of more folks here we want to say hello to this evening. Mr. Rhoda joining us this evening from Upper Mississippi. Good to see him tonight. Also, let's see, there's a few folks that are joining that I don't know this evening, so we've got some new viewers. So hello to Charlie. Glad he's here this evening. Mr. Christopher Rice joining us as well from Lower Alabama. We've got a lot of northern parts of states and lower parts of states tonight, so we're getting specific to our area, and that's okay. Jim Collinsworth, our Tennessee Division chaplain, joining us this evening. Jim, hope you're doing well. Jim is, as you guys know, very, very active in our division, and he's really been working in Middle Tennessee and really helping on the DeWitt Smith Job Cemetery, which we've talked about, and he's been working on that today, and I believe it's even been in that area. Great effort, pretty exciting announcement coming, so we'll get that together with that cemetery. So we'll be sharing that maybe in next week's episode. We'll have some more details about that. Let's see. Anybody else? Of course, James Patterson, the one and only, is with us tonight from the Fayetteville camp there, the John R. Massey Camp 152. And James is getting together, Jordy, to plan next year's division reunion. So he's going to be following after you guys there in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm.
James was one of our first cheerleaders for our monument. Appreciate I've not got to see him in a while. I've not been to many division reunions here lately, and so I'm looking forward to seeing James. And he was one of the first people to vote to approve our monument fund. So once again, I very appreciate him. He's definitely someone that took SCV right. He was wanting us to put up more monuments. I appreciate him.
Yep, he's definitely a good supporter. And that photograph you see there that's not James, just in case you wonder. That's some other individual we know pretty well there. That's pretty active in our country. Yeah. I do appreciate James Patterson. Also, let's see. I think that's got everybody that's new joining us tonight and that's on. Good viewership, of course, if you're watching on Facebook or if you're also watching on YouTube, all the different avenues from SCV Chat to Tennessee Tuesday. We are out there and scvchat.com. You can learn more about the programs. Jason, let's go through our sponsors now, as it's time to take our first break. We're a little past time on taking our first break. We're at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour this evening, and a big shout out, Jason. I'm going to let you thank our sponsors tonight.
Thank you, Commander. And I want to thank Jordy for everything he said and everything that he's done. He's worked very hard on this. And I can remember when this was just an idea, and it is an idea that has come to fruition due to perseverance. And it's you, Mike Beck, all the people up there that have worked to make all of this happen. And I thank you for it. You didn't back away from the charge. You took it and you made a charge of yourself. And y'all have done a fantastic job. And I want to thank y'all. And I've been to a lot of division reunions. I have not been to one that had a monument dedication. And I think it is awesome that y'all are doing this. And I think it is going to be a historic moment. It's going to be a threshold moment. And Tennessee Division and the Longstreet Museum and the Bradford Rose Camp all stepping through this threshold. Way to go. And I thank you. And there can't be enough thanks for everything you're doing. I've seen some of the comments and they're talking about, you think of how many years it took to raise the money to put the original monuments up. They raised money, pennies, nickels, dimes at a time with bake sales and everything else, raising money for these. And it takes time for it to happen. I'm working on one myself with the Forest Plaza, and it takes a while to make all of that happen and get all the pieces together. And I thank you for it. We'll talk about our sponsors. You see all the ones that's on the bottom. Those are the ones that are contributing through Patreon. And you can go to scv.chat and go there and click on sponsor them and join up with Patreon, or go to patreon.com/scvchat. And you can sponsor at the different levels. They have a entry level that's called the Feed the Moose level. It's $2.50 a month. And then they have a $10 level. And then they have a $30 level. The $30 level, $30 a month. They call it a merchandise level, but you do get some things in the mail. I'm on that level, and I just got something the other day from them. And it's good. It's very good. I've got a couple of things, and you don't do it to get the sticker or whatever. You do it because it's the right thing to do. And what you go through and putting one of these shows on, it is not cheap. And I want to thank all the sponsors. And then we have the show sponsors, and we'll start with Dr. Chris Cummins. And I know, John, you have worked with Dr. Cummins. If you would like to mention him.
Yeah, Dr. Chris Cummings, great guy. You're going to love him the first time you meet him. And not just because he's a great guy, but he is an excellent physician. We do know that one of his specialties is knee pain. As I'm now 43, will be 44 next month, I experience knee pain. I know what it's like. And when you're dealing with those issues, it affects your whole life. Go see Dr. Cummings. Make a trip down to Oxford and just set up an appointment with him and go see him, and he can help get to the bottom of those issues. And he's a longtime SCV member. He served on many different committees, many different roles. He served, I believe, was he on your staff as well, Jason?
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. And I talked with him several times, worked with him. He is, every time we needed something there, he was very good to work with. Yes. And then the past Commander-in-Chief, Larry McClooney, he has a new book out, The Paradox of Freedom. And you can go to Books by Larry, go to his website, and you can purchase all of his books that are on there. Go pay Larry a visit on his website, and he's out on the book tour. So if you need to, contact him and see if he'll come speak to your camp or vent, brigade, whatever you're doing, and see if you can book Larry, because he does a very good talk on this. And this is a very good book that's getting a whole lot of interest on that.
And Jason, I believe Larry is going to be up at Elm Springs at our headquarters for the event next weekend, correct?
Sir, on March 14th, they're having, they're calling it a book fair. And they've had, Adam said how many, was it 100 boxes of books that the Mechanized Cavalry brought up and donated. And they have been going through those, and it's been a mount of them that they have put back, going through, and they are very good books. I looked in the boxes, and I'm going, I hadn't heard of that one. I hadn't seen that one. So,
and Jason, I saw a comment to that, and you can help me if I'm wrong here. A lot of these books that have been donated sometimes are duplicates they already have in the collection, and they don't need multiple copies of it. So there's some of those like that they are able to sell and bring those funds back to the museum.
Yes, sir, and thank you for bringing that up. If you come into the museum and you go on the go into the first go in the museum and you go into the bookstore, if you look over there on the left, you'll see a cabinet that has books over there, and they generally have three books. They will have if it is a rare book or an old book, a first edition, that will go back in the archives. And then they will have a one that they will have on the library shelf for all of us to use. And those people come in, do research, they get these books off the shelf and look for them. Now, if they get, and they keep the best ones, but if they get a third copy, it goes on that for sale book. And you're talking $2 for a paperback and $5 for a hardback. Now, the kind of rare ones or the ones that are volumes of them, like 2 or 3, like, one of some of those by Douglas Southall Freeman, they're packaged and so different. You can't get those for $5 a piece.
Yeah, I mean, there's specialty books in there that are going to be more, but what a neat opportunity, Jason. We're talking about that research library. We read about a lot of these books online. Where could I find a copy of this to go to? There's been 2 or 3 the last time we had our DEC meeting. I'm like, hey, there's that book I've been trying to find a copy of.
Yes.
They've got many of these here. So what a great research library. Adam Southern's history is working in public libraries. So he understands the library world well and has developed that library and done a great job with it.
Yes, he has. He's done very good. And it is, you go in there and there's people donate books. I've donated them. I know a bunch of people have donated books. And we're going to have a research library that's going to be second to none. And with this book fair that we have, Larry's going to be speaking. I think there's some more speakers that's going to be there, but you can meet the authors. You can buy their books, get them signed, and that's March 14th. You can go onto Facebook, onto at the official SCV page and find it. You can also, you see it all over social media, but that's going to be March 14th. And it's a book fair, not a symposium. It is a book fair. So. And I see you've got the 31st Regiment engraving pulled up. And I just want to say Todd is in our, Todd from California. That's our 31st Regiment fella. So he does this engraving. I'm going to need to talk to him because I saw Harrison's armband. And I thought,
I did. I like that. That was nice.
Yes, and I'm going to talk to him about getting some things done. He's an SCV member out of California, 31stregengraving.com, and Todd for everything he's doing. And it's some good stuff he's got there. Yes, and it's Southern themed items and custom laser engraved gifts. So Todd, thank you for that. And then we have the museum at Market Hall that is in Charleston, South Carolina. If the flag is out, they're open. Let me pop that up right here.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes, if the flag is out, they are open. Their hours are Thursday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you've never been there, that is a fantastic place to go to. If you come to the National Reunion, it was just a few miles in downtown Charleston to that. But that's a wonderful place to go. The history there is wonderful. And they've actually loaned flags to us. And Chuck Roydhouse is correct. The book prices are wallet friendly. And that money goes to taking care of the museum and the library. So that money is spoke for. Then another one we have that they come on is Beauregard's Tailor. It's a family business driven, proudly offering authentic War Between the States reproductions, T-shirts, reproduction flags, lapel pins. You can go to Beauregard'sTailor.com. They do very accurate uniforms. If you're into reenacting, they do a fantastic job with that. And those are our sponsors, and those sponsors make all of this possible. So,
absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we appreciate our sponsors. We need to go ahead and take our first break, guys. We've got a great program, great conversation already tonight. A lot of folks in the chat. We'll touch on some more of those comments after we come back. We'll be back on Tennessee Tuesday. On this Tuesday, March the 3rd, Jason Boshears, John Blankenship, and our special guest, Jordy Barnett, here with you tonight. We'll be back right after this. Our Southern heritage is under attack. Whose heritage, some may ask? Well, the heritage of those that love God, their families, and their homes. We must stand together and fight back against those who wish to destroy it. The sons of Confederate veterans regard these attacks as frivolous and are committed to preserve and protect our history. We can't do it alone. We need your help. To learn more about membership, visit TennesseeSCV.org. If not us, who? If not now, when?
There is a place, nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home, constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost. Stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
And welcome back into Tennessee Tuesday. It's Tuesday, March the 3rd. We are in season number 2, Jason, episode number 9. And it's been a great show so far tonight. We're glad you are watching and listening to us. A little apologies there if you've seen some audio issues and maybe some video issues that are a little delayed tonight. That seems to be a thing with the software. It happens from time to time. But as long as you can hear us, we do appreciate you staying with us this evening. Let's say hello to a couple of more folks and some comments here, and then we're going to jump back into our conversation with Jordy Barnett this evening about the Tennessee Division reunion. And there's a whole bunch of folks here, and we're going to try to get all these. So, again, apologies in advance if we happen to miss one. We're doing our best to get all those on. Toby joining us, of course, from Camp 1620. Hope he's doing well this evening. And Chuck Roydhouse, Jason, is talking about there. It says you're an excellent orator. I can't say that tonight, but you're an excellent speaker. We'll say that part. He speaks from the heart and makes history come to life. And a fantastic. And Jason, sometimes I can show emotion when people speak with passion. And I was looking around, nobody else was crying, but there was a tear coming to my eye, and I thought, man, I got to hold it together. But Jason, he knows how to drive his message home, and a great job you do.
Well, thank you. And it was an honor to be there and to be allowed to speak at that Lee Jackson. I want to thank Barry Sowell for the invitation to do that. And by the way, while we're mentioning it, I'm not going to be here next Tuesday night because I'm on Patton Camp talking about Pat Claiborne. So,
yes, you will. That's going to be a very good event.
Yes, it is. And, to get an opportunity to speak about our heroes. And
well, Jason, you mentioned where you just were, and I wanted to put a photograph up here, one of the evening, the food there at Camp 176 in Union City, the Otho French Straw Camp. And I believe that's you there on the floor, moving around, speaking, and just a great crowd from the brigade and outside of the Jeffrey Forrest Brigade as well. Good food and good attendance. Again, shout out to Barry Sowell, who just did a fantastic job to put that together.
Yes, he did. It was a very nice event. Well done. And if you left hungry, it was your own fault.
Absolutely. Well, let's jump back into our conversation tonight. Our guest is Jordy Barnett, who is the camp commander of the Bradford Rose Camp. And Jordy, along with others in that area of East Tennessee, have been working really, really hard. Jordy, I've done a couple of these division reunions. Jason's done one as well. A lot of work goes into making this happen, and it doesn't start 2 weeks before the event. You literally work a year, 2 years in advance to make all this come to pass. So we want to talk a little bit about this tonight. First, we'll give our website, TennesseeSCV.org, is where you can go and you can find out all the information we're going to talk about tonight. If you still want to register or you need details about what's happening, you can do that tonight. So let's jump back in that conversation. And Jordy, let's talk about the event. Let's give us the dates. I'm going to kind of let you break it down and kind of lead where you go and what's kind of happening as we get into that weekend in April.
Well, I'd like to go ahead and say that we still are accepting sponsors. We do. So go ahead, and when you call in, bring in your paperwork to register, make sure to get your ancestor in there. We're doing that $20 to put your ancestor in the program. And so we're still trying to get, we just need people to register. That's the big thing, which I can't say much. I've took for granted, no, I'm going to be there, that I haven't wrote my check yet. So during the last meeting, I was like, now who hasn't registered? But I couldn't really give a stern look at anyone because I hadn't done it myself. We're definitely a few members that are taking it for granted, knowing we're going to be there, and we haven't wrote our checks yet. But no, we're really excited. I mean, we're going to be meeting on April the 17th. I'm looking at my notes right here. Make sure I get everything right. April the 17th, we're having our meet and greet at the museum. That's where you can go ahead and start getting your paperwork, your lanyard and everything. And the monument hopefully will be covered is our goal. We don't want anyone to see it finished till we get to unveil it the 18th. But Friday, we can start meeting at 5 p.m. The ladies, our UDC chapter, are going to bring some snacks. I'm going to be bringing some food from work. And we're just going to have a nice meet and greet, chill, kind of see the museum before the big crowd Saturday. And we'll close that down around 8 o'clock. And then April 18th, we're going to hopefully have the meeting starting around 8 o'clock that morning. So we'll have more of that kind of when we talk to you, Commander, and we'll get all that done and taken care of. But we'll have some breakfast refreshments. It's going to be at the Landing in Morristown. This is the giant community center that's been built in our community. Been in it many times, and it is very impressive, and they are very friendly to us. We were worried at one point the guy that we were in contact with quit all of a sudden, and I was my biggest fear was we were going to find someone southern friendly. But once again, we dove right in. They were like, we're excited to have you, and let's get all our ducks in a row. And they've absolutely been fantastic. And so hopefully we can get through our business session. We're going to try to have the monument dedication at 2 o'clock. That's the goal. So if you are not a SCV member, or you're kind of just watching this as a pro Southerner on this program, and you're not coming to the reunion, please still come to the monument dedication. We want you to come see it. This is not just a meeting for the SCV. This is a meeting for all pro Southerners. And of course, UDC is welcome as well. I think we're not going to have some other state. I think there's another UDC state event going on. But our chapter will be there. Our lovely ladies that have absolutely been a backbone. We always say that we are one big camp. We actually have a joint session, and then we split off, have our separate meetings. Could not do what we do without our ladies. And then the award banquet should start at 7 p.m. We're still getting some more details of that figured out, but the room is ready. It's going to be at the top level at the Landing. I will, by the next time I come on this program, I want to have some photos on my phone I'll send to you, Commander. It has a beautiful view of Morristown. It has a huge balcony, and it's just a wonderful building. If you want to if you get a little bored and you want to look on their website, their Facebook page, and see all the events, there's a lot of cool stuff you can do if you want to bring the grandkids or your kids. There's a small fee to get in the door. There's a pool, a gym, and a rock climbing area where there's these large rocks and columns where you get climbing gear and you can climb it. Me and Mike were kind of looking at it last time we had a meeting, and I said, wonder how much money we could raise for the museum and the monument if we can get one of the commanders to climb this thing. So that's something I'm kind of working on. If we might have some higher ups in the division want to volunteer for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's going to be a fun time. And for folks that may be asking, Jordy, what's the distance between the main host hotel and the landing? How close are these, and what's that like?
Right across the street.
Very simple, easy to do, easy to move around.
You can look at from the balcony. You can see where these, and I'm telling you, some of these are brand spanking new hotels. This is something the Morristown. It's one part of me as a being leery about people moving into the area and being a pro agriculturist. We've actually lost some farmland in our community. That news is broke. But you have to take the good with the bad, and we have developed a lot in Morristown, and this does give us an opportunity to have big events like this. And we've sold it to our Chamber of Commerce pretty much like, if this works out, if something happens, we could have another reunion here. We during COVID, unfortunately, Greenville had to move theirs. So if we ever have another event, hopefully we can kind of have a bookmark that, we can handle it, and even having future events there. I'm hoping to have a few more events there. And my mind kind of goes, but let's just see it through this event, and we'll see how it goes. But they're super open to us. They seem super friendly, and they want us to come, and the community is there. And we're trying to get a bus thing figured out so that everyone can be bused to the museum, so we don't have to worry about people driving. But once again, if you're not an SCV member, you're not coming to the reunion, you are more than welcome to bring everyone and come to the monument dedication.
Man, it's going to be a good time. Looking forward to it. A lot of stuff going on. It's going to be a busy Saturday morning. And for our Tennessee Division members and others that may have already registered and are coming, just go ahead and make note. This will be a busy business session as we will get started promptly, and because we want to get it wrapped up in plenty of time to get our business done, but make sure we have time to grab lunch and then get over to the monument dedication, and we have plenty of time there to get that in, then come back for a great awards banquet, and it'll be a good evening. A lot of stuff going on, Jordy. So let's break it down once again. If folks want to come and they still want to get tickets and want to get their registration in, what's the cost of that now? Because I know we're past the 1st of March, and has that price changed a little bit?
No, I think we're still on 65. The date of when that cuts off is escaped me right now. Okay. I do know by April 1st we have to have the number of people that are eating for the big center. That's the date that's in my mind. I've not got a copy of the date thing in front of me. I don't want to give you all the wrong date. But I'll have that by the next meeting we have, because I think you're all wanting us to stay on there pretty well. But
see, Jordy, I'm looking at your registration. Hopefully this helps you out a little bit here. I see
75 between March 1st and March 15th. So by March 15th, it's going to go up. And if you come in late, it's still going to be that price. You just will not get a meal. The lunch is going to be a box lunch, and how we're going to plan it is you're going to get it either to eat on the bus or at the museum, or, because we're going to be trying to get this done, eat and go. How my plan is, once we have our opening session and we get to the voting part and I can pass my part on to y'all, I'm actually planning on looking out the back, going to the museum and getting some more stuff taken care of. So once I'm done with my part of this baby, I'm delivering it to you all, and you all do your official thing, and then I'm going to go take care of my kid down at the museum. Yeah. But no, the lunch, we will have a box lunch situation. I'm just really excited. I'm hoping it all goes smoothly. I'm hoping the election and all that stuff, all the business session goes out without a hitch, because I'm really wanting to show off this our property. I want everyone to take time and come on Friday if you can. You can just kind of chill out a little bit. You can kind of see the museum at your own pace. Kelly and Shane and them and Mike are working on some great new displays they're trying to get done. I'm wanting to get a little display of our camps books and our charter and put it on display. Mm-hmm. And also you can see where we can grow on this property. not only our little Monument Avenue, but also inside the museum, new displays you can sponsor if you want to sponsor. And also we're going to have different projects that you can sponsor. One thing I'm working on is we've got a fence that we have purchased from a lady that had one in her yard, and she took it down and we bought it. I went ahead and made the executive decision to purchase it. It needs a little work, but we're working on it to where you can buy a panel. There should be 12 panels altogether, and your camp or your ancestor's name could be put on it. And so I'm hoping to have that by the reunion. So you can go ahead and make a donation and have your camp's name, your ancestor's name on a plaque. But we're going to have different projects, much like Elm Springs, Forest Boyd Home. There's always something to do. There's always something to fix. But I really want people to kind of come and see. I mean, I know most people, I've been to the Forest Wood Home in Elm Springs many times, and I know there's just some people haven't been we're not been on their radar, and I'm hoping that this will finally put them on their radar, and we'll have events at the Longstreet Museum. I've got to have that annual trip, and that's what my goal is. That's what all of our goal is, especially Mike Beck, who has worked tirelessly to save this property.
Yeah, and that's something we know, Jordy, and we've talked about when Mike was on with us, the Longstreet Museum. So much progress has been done. There's so much restoration work. The division's been glad to be able to partner with the Lakeway Association there to help bring awareness to it. And again, people ask, Jordy, and you can speak to this if you want to, it's pro-Confederate.
We are the only museum that we are the only museum, one of the very few, let me say that again, rearrange that, but that flies 2 Confederate flags 24/7, 365 days a year. And we are very true history, which is is pro-Confederate. True history is pro-Confederate, in my opinion. And so we tell it how it is. This is one of the major stepping points. These were major players in the war. These men were in Gettysburg. These men were in Knoxville. You talk about all these major battles, and you kind of pick on the major locations. Well, those men had to go between A and B to get to a place, and we're in that middle section. And so we were actually the only communications room, I believe Union or Confederate, in the state of Tennessee. We had an entire line of communication to Richmond. And in this little tiny house that was almost tore down to become a dollar store. And, some pro history and Southern loving people come together and saved it. And now we've got to step up and keep it going.
Absolutely. Well, great work you guys are doing. The Tennessee Division reunion coming up April the 17th and 18th. Again, you can go to our website, TennesseeSCB.org, and there you'll find a link at the top and the bar there where you can go get your registration in, and any other information you need about hotel stays, all that's available there. Looking forward to being in Morristown. It's going to be a good event. Going to be a lot of folks there, and busy year, of course, business-wise. It's an election year for the Tennessee Division. So we've got a lot of things to do, a lot of great stuff working in the division, and what you guys do is just a part of that makes it all work. And we appreciate you hosting that reunion. Jordy, anything else you need to let us know about the division reunion before we kind of change gears here?
Get your registration in. I speak for myself as well. I'm preaching the choir. But get your registration in. Especially if you want to sponsor something, or your business or your camp wants to sponsor an ad in the program, please get that in. Everything helps. And we're trying to get everything kind of figured out about how we want to set up the ceremony. But the goal is to have a wreath ceremony. And even if we have to kind of scratch it, I do want people to bring floral tributes and wreaths and decorate it, because once again, this monument is not just for the men that were here in the winter of '63. They're not just here for the men under Longstreet Corps. This is for all the boys in gray.
Yep. Well, Jordy, got a question here. A gentleman wants to know, do you need any help on Saturday morning for opening ceremonies, or even at the dedication, such as reenactors with any weapons, rifles? Do you need any of that stuff?
Yeah, we're Mike is working through trying to figure out what the protocol is of how many we do need to have stuff. I'm wanting to get a color guard together. We have a very beautiful color guard with Brian Green, which is the East Tennessee color guard. But we have them we're trying to figure out where we can maybe have them already in different two locations, so we don't have to pack them up, bring
Sure.
them back to see them, then pack them up, then take them to the awards banquet. So if you can do a period dress, we're going to hopefully have that figured out in the next few weeks and figure out how many honor guard, color guard we want. And once again, we're just trying to kind of figure out how we want to see it. We are going to have to start the ceremony in the backyard under the tent.
Yeah.
It's just going to be better. The bad thing is we have a lot of traffic, so it's harder to hear. So we have to have a speaker, so it's better in the backyard. But good thing is we have a lot of traffic, so a lot of people are going to see the monument. So it's double-edged sword. So what our goal is to have the ceremony, everyone speak, the speeches given, and the thanks given, in the backyard under the tent, and then we will move to the front yard for the unveiling. So yes, if you are willing to wear a period dress, bring your rifle. We will appreciate that. And if we don't use you, we would like it for pictures and stuff. Because we're going to I want everyone to rally around this monument and us take a big picture. And I hope it ends up on a certain magazine, hopefully maybe on the front cover,
That'd be nice.
Just kind of sliding that in there for those that might be listening.
So, Jordy, folks I'll say they probably reach out to you if they're interested in assisting there in any of the color guard, any reenactors you need. Just reach out to you directly. And
you can reach out to me directly. My email's on things. If you want to post my email, I think it's also on the division page. Message me on Facebook. Send me a request. And whatever, we really appreciate it. The OCR is going to be there and in their morning attire, and I've already talked to them, and we're just trying to work out some little things here and there and just make sure it all goes smoothly. We're praying for good weather. With East Tennessee, you never know, it might be a blizzard, who knows, but we're hoping for good weather. I've been told it never rains on a monument dedication, so we'll keep that. I remember the Forest reinterment. That was wettest and then the hottest day I could ever remember. Definitely a bad day to wear a black suit, but we made it through, and it was a beautiful day.
Definitely so. Well, we're looking forward to it, Jordy. Thank you so much for being on with us tonight. And we'll be talking again and have you on again, you or Mike, or both of y'all too, if y'all both want to join. And we'll talk a little bit more as we get closer, and as the event will be here in, about a month and a half, a little bit less.
Yeah, the big countdown's like a big bomb about to go off.
Well, all right, guys, let's go ahead and take one more break here. Jordy, you're welcome to stay with us, or if you want to drop off tonight, you can do that as well. We'll come back and talk about some more Tennessee Division activities. There's been a few events around the area and a couple of photographs we want to share with you and talk about some other upcoming events, and we'll be right back after this.
Was your great-grandfather a traitor or a patriot? Today's politically correct are trying hard to take away the heritage of the brave Confederate soldiers who fought and died for their land. But one thing is certain, they can't change history. Those Confederate soldiers were fighting for the same reason soldiers fight today. They were fighting against homeland invasion. We believe that the desecration of the bravery, patriotism, and honor of those men should not be allowed. They were outmanned and outsupplied, but they were never outfought. They were proud men who believed in fighting to protect their dignity, their homes, and their families. If you're the male descendant of a Confederate soldier, we'd welcome you to join with us in the preservation of that heritage. We're the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Check us out on the internet at scv.org or call us at 800-MY-SOUTH. That's 800-697-6884. Sons of Confederate Veterans, dedicated to preserving the reputation of men like Robert E. Lee, Stonewall Jackson, and your great-grandfather.
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. My father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive. Or, as Robert E. Lee said, the best way to disrupt your enemy's plans is to strike first. Everyone should do all in his power to collect and disseminate the truth, in the hope that it may find a place in history and descend to posterity. History is not the relation of campaigns and battles and generals or other individuals, but that which shows the principles for which the South contended and which justified her struggle for those principles. If you're looking for some place to be where you think you're going to accomplish something to save our history, go to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm Thomas Lee Jesse. I'm a descendant of Private Daughtery Gilmer, a Confederate veteran.
And welcome back to Tennessee Tuesday on SCV Chat. I'm your host, John Blankenship, along with my co-host, Jason Moshears, and our guest this evening, Mr. Jordy Barnett. Again, we're glad you're watching with us this evening. Thank you for all the comments tonight. And again, Jordy, thank you for telling us about what's happening with the division reunion. It's going to be a good time up in East Tennessee, and looking forward to being there. So, gentlemen, let's go over a few things that are happening in the division. And Jason, you feel free to jump in where you want tonight here. But I want to show you some photographs of some things that have been going on. One of those we mentioned earlier. There's just a few of us that took a photograph at the end there for the Jeffrey Forrest Brigade Lee Jackson banquet in Union City this past weekend there. You recognize those folks. Of course, Sean Hill, our second lieutenant commander of the division there on the left, Kyle Thompson, who is the Kentucky division commander, myself, Chuck Roydhouse, Barry Sowell, and the one and only Jason there at the end. So a good time there. And there's another photograph, a wide shot of just a few of those in attendance, and the delicious food. And Mandy Hill had her nanner pudding, Jason. Everybody loved that.
Yes, she did. She did. I tried to warn everybody to stay away from it because I needed to take it home and dispose of it correctly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. It was very, very good. Also, we want to share a couple of these photos. These are from Mike Dunn, the commander of the Dillard Judd camp in Cookeville there. He attended the Stephen D. Lee Institute this past weekend as well, and he shared a couple of those photographs on our division Facebook group. So we wanted to share those, and these are from Mike Dunn, and there's just a few of those in attendance at the event. Looks like it was a great turnout, and heard good things about all the speakers. And, of course, there's Commander-in-Chief Donnie Kennedy there welcoming the folks at the event. And then, of course, there he is at the before the presentations get underway. So a great time there. And, again, those photographs are from Mike Dunn that he got to attend that event. This is also here from the Confederate Veteran Magazine, Jason. I'm sure you've seen this. Mm-hmm. We want to say hello to them in Florida, and thanks for the compliment on our cards that we've done, our hero cards. That's been very successful, and to recognize our different camps. We have a set of 50 of those, and we've talked about those. So we appreciate that nice comment about the Tennessee division from them. So, Jason, let's talk about some other events that are going on. This one here, I'll let you jump in on this one. It's coming up a little ways down the road. It's going to be in May. It will be the Army of Tennessee Workshop and Reunion.
Oh, yes, sir. That's Jimmy Hill is going to be one of the speakers. He's one of the hosts. As you know, Carl Jones is our Army of Tennessee commander. You also see Rich Garcia is going to be one of the speakers. Mm-hmm. Mississippi Division Commander Forrest Alls, and George Connor Bond, who is a host here on SCV Chat, one of those people that got it started. It is going to be at the Southern Cultural Center in Wetumpka, Alabama. And on that weekend, that's the first weekend in May, there's several events that's going to be going on the first weekend in May. So you can choose to go to the Army of Tennessee Workshop in Wetumpka, Alabama. And then we have the Pilgrimage and Homecoming that will be happening there at Historic Elm Springs. And you can see the grounds open at 9 a.m. They'll close at 4. The museum will be open. The house will be open. We'll have a Confederate memorial service, and we'll do similar to what Jordy, that we've done in the past, and what Jordy's talking about doing, where we have a floral arrangements for people to come and lay. And so we'll have that. You'll notice that at the bottom, the Strings of Secession will be playing. That is quite done. The Master of Ceremonies is going to be our own Commander-in-Chief, Mr. Walter D. Donnie Kennedy, and our keynote speaker is fabulous.
Yes, she is.
Just Teresa Roan. She's archivist for the United Daughters of the Confederacy. And I visited with her. She come and spoke for an event for us, and she is fantastic, and I'm looking forward to that event.
Going to be a good one. And another one that's coming up here at the end of this, well, let's see, that's coming up March the 28th. That'll be the end of this month. It'll be our National Chaplains Conference, and it will be held there at Elm Springs in Columbia. So on March the 28th, Jason, you want to speak a little bit about that event?
Yes, sir. And this is going to be hosted by our chaplain-in-chief, Dr. Tom Hyder. You can see that they go from 9 until 3. So the grounds are open up about 8 o'clock, and yes, the museum will be open. And it is going to be in the conference center of the house. It's not going to be in the library. It'll be in the same room we held it in last time.
Sure.
And, I have not heard the list of speakers. I did talk to past chaplain-in-chief Gary Carlisle. He was my chaplain-in-chief. He's going to be one of the speakers, and I'm going to be one of the speakers, but I do not know who else is going to be speaking at this time. I'll talk to Dr. Hyder, and we'll get that information out. But that's going to be coming up, and you register with General Headquarters. You contact them, and you register. Yes.
Well, here's the part that's interesting there. This is a chaplains conference, and they're letting Jason Boshier speak. Jason, what is that about?
I have wondered that many times myself. Yes. Why are they allowing me to speak?
I'm picking at you.
The one we had last time, they asked me to speak, and it's an honor to be part of those. I mean, I don't know if Kim Hoffecker is still on out of Florida. I don't know if he is, but I hope to see him at this one. He was at the one last time, and I think yes, Rich Garcia was at the last one as well. They are very good. You really hear the speakers and how they tied. There was something that was said, and Mike Dunn said it, and he said, "You can talk about God all day and never mention the Confederate soldier, but you cannot mention the Confederate soldier and not talk about God."
You're right. That's true.
That's one of those profound statements that's very true, and it sticks with you. And it has stuck with me since then.
Yeah,
Yes.
It's going to be a good event. Make your plans to be there. Again, one more. Jason, you're a busy man right now. You're everywhere. You're going to be speaking at this event, which is coming up this next week.
Yes, sir. Tuesday night, March 10th. I'll be speaking, and I'm honored that they asked me to be there. The Hatton Camp 723 asked me to be the speaker. If you know anything about me and any of my talks on Pat Claiborne, you know that I knew about Pat Claiborne, and he was my hero before I ever knew about Nathan Bedford Forrest. And that was the proximity I live 4 miles from St. John's Church, which he passed on his way to go into, had the Battle of Spring Hill, then you had the Battle of Franklin. And so and he was temporarily interred there at St. John's Church. And so I knew about Pat Claiborne before then, and he was my hero long before I ever heard of Nathan Bedford Forrest. But and I'll probably tell a little bit of that story then. Yes.
Yeah. That's coming up this next week. That's going to be a good time there. And Jason, we're going to kind of come back to this one here that we saved one that's coming up closest to our time, which is going to be on March the 7th. That's this Saturday. This is the Confederate Flag Day and Flag Retirement Ceremony at the General Forrest Boyhood Home there in Chapel Hill. It's Saturday, March the 7th, starting at 11 there with lunch and open house for tours of the home, and then the ceremony's at 12:30. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. There is about a 90% chance of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday.
Yes.
The last update I had late this afternoon is we're going to see some thunderstorms as of right now. So this is an outside event, so you know what that means. Well, let me kind of give you a little what we've worked on, because we don't want to have to cancel this event unless we have to because of weather. So we look to do it at Elm Springs, reached out to Athern, but the GEC is going to meet at Elm Springs.
Yes.
And headquarters on Saturday. So there's no space to use. We were going to go into the big conference room there, the event center at Elm Springs, but of course that's booked for this time. So we tried to move it indoors. And of course that's just not available. So as of right now, we'll make a final call on tomorrow evening, because we know there are folks that come and book a hotel room and stay that Friday night. So we want to make sure people don't lose their money from a hotel room. So tomorrow evening, we will post out there and put on social media what happens with this event on Saturday. If you look at the weather the way it is right now, there's a high chance this event will just get canceled. And we probably most likely, Jason, won't reschedule it due to there's just so many other events in the weekends up to the division reunion. So we hate to have to do those things, but as of right now, the way that was looking, we probably will not be able to do that event since it is outside. You've got a cannon coming, cannon in the field, muddy's not going to work. And we looked at renting a tent, but that's pretty expensive. And again, if it's raining, we know how attendance will be. So there's a high chance that could get canceled this year. But again, a lot of work has gone into it. And we'll have that final update again tomorrow evening. Hate to cancel events, because you know what usually happens when you postpone or cancel one, it don't do anything.
Yes, sir. And
but that chance is pretty high.
Yes, sir. And I've looked at 2 radar, and I was just looking at one then while you were talking about it, and they were giving it a 94% chance of rain most of the day and a large chance of thunderstorms midday.
Yeah.
And that would just be having an outside event is rough during those times. Yes. And because then if we have thunderstorms, we start having lightning, and you can't be out there when that's going on.
And that's one of those things we're not going to risk. I mean, it could not do anything, but we'll make that final call, and you can kind of see the way we're leaning. And of course, it's become an annual event. So if it doesn't happen this year, we'll just plan for next year, save those flags up that you're bringing to retirement. And we'll keep those, the ones we've got. If you have others, we'll plan for that. But that final announcement will be on our division Facebook group, also our division Facebook page, and we'll share it in other groups and on the Tennessee Tuesday as well. We'll have that out there on that page as well if you need updates, and we'll share that later tomorrow evening. Well, gentlemen, it's just about time to wrap up. I've got a couple of more things I want to talk about, and then I'm going to open the floor to y'all and let y'all throw in what you need to. And one of those is our tags in Tennessee. We are so thankful for these. It helps fund many of the projects that you've heard us talk about tonight and on previous shows. We also support the Tennessee State Museum with a portion of these funds. Go back to help preserve Confederate artifacts. We've done kepis, we've done clothing, we've done flags, and we want to continue our partnership with the Tennessee State Museum and our camps and brigades across the division that we help out with. And we appreciate those that have these tags. And if you don't have one, just go to your local county clerk's office and they are available. And many of our county clerk's offices, Jason, actually display these. Our county courthouse has had them up for display here in Gibson County. And we had an event not too long ago, Jason, where the county clerk, she actually came to our Rotary Club and spoke about specialty tags. That was part of her discussion. And she brought one of ours.
Good.
So we appreciate that. And she knows I'm interested in it, but at a public event for them to promote it, hey, we appreciate that. And there's a lot of folks that have those. And again, you know, there was that old slogan we had to start out with. It showed your Southern pride. We kind of modified our slogan as we're saving history. But again, get you one of those tags if you don't have one. And you can also get custom ones, Jason, as well. You can, beyond just having the SCV logo tag, you can get it to say what you want. Mine says a TNSCV on it. So pretty neat things. I always say if I ever change vehicles and change the tag, I want to keep that one, but I don't think they'll let me keep it. That's pretty neat. But glad to have those tags. We couldn't do it without the support of our members and even beyond our membership, because anyone can have one of those tags. They're available for, of course, motorcycles as well. So there's another sample of those tags. So make sure you get you one of those. If you don't, you help support the many great works that are done in the Tennessee division. One more thing, I don't have a photograph to share with you right now, but at the Jeffrey Forrest banquet there on Saturday, the Lee Jackson banquet, Barry Howell mentioned a project that's been done before, but it has to be done every so many years, is the restoration and the maintenance of the Unknown Soldiers Monument that dates back to the late 1860s. It's one of the oldest monuments in the South. It's been promoted as the oldest, and it's pretty close right there. That was put up in Union City. It's built of brick, and it's wrapped in stucco, and now it's been wrapped in other things to protect it. Well, every so many years, that has to have work done. There's been trees around it. Most of those are gone now, but it's time for restoration work. And I know Barry is working on an event the end of April to have a fundraiser. But the Tennessee Division and I, as division commander, was able to offer support towards that this weekend with the donation to the camp there and the work they're doing to preserve that. It's important we take care of these monuments, and really those old ones like that, that's one we can't lose. It's not made out of granite or a hard stone. So it's brick and wrapped in stucco. It's always going to need work, but it's important we save it.
And you showed a picture earlier that we were standing around with Kyle Thompson and me and you and everybody. That is an image of what we stood around was it. I can pull it up.
Yeah, if you want to. Yeah, if you've got.
Let's see I don't see it. There it is. That's it. Well, that's not the monument itself. That's a replica of it. So that's what we have to maintain, and we have to. It's our responsibility. So it's one of those things that we must do. And I'm honored to say that the Tennessee Division stepping up and doing the work. Now, there you go. There's your.
Yeah, there's another image of the actual monument. It's tall, and Jason, right in the center of that monument is an old railroad or rail that's right down the center of it.
Yes,
to help with its structure.
Yes. It's just amazing. Didn't Barry say it was Barry Sal? Didn't he say that it was 67?
I think it's 1867, 67. So I should know that, but for some reason my dates are all wrapped up.
Yeah,
it was either. They maintain a flag there at the site as well. You see there behind it, there's always a flag, and then that soldier you see on the right. A little story about that, Jason. There's several of him around back probably 15 plus years ago now. The Confederate Soldiers Monument on the Court Square in Trenton in Gibson County, county seat, was damaged in a storm, and the soldier got knocked off and he lost his head. Well, that had to be recast, and that new bronze marker is on the top of that. But the mold they made, the late Bill Foster was involved in this project, and he helped make several of those. There's one like this at the Mega Flag site in Trimble, and this one here that's by this was originally in Bill Foster's front yard.
Well,
so now it's made it there, and I think there's maybe one or two out there in other places. And that mold still exists, I think, too. So pretty neat that it's there as well. And then you've got soldiers that are buried around here. There's small stones you can't see in this picture that are in a circle around the monument. And there's one black Confederate soldier that's buried there that's identified as well. So a very neat site. It's owned by the city and county, well maintained. And, of course, the SCV camp helps to keep that up. And, of course, taking care of that monument. It's in the middle of town, so there's houses around it. And then the old city cemetery is behind it. You'll see the flag, and then there's an archway that says Unknown Soldiers Monument. And then the city cemetery is just across the old railroad bed.
Well, I'll say, yes. So, I've been there several times. It's always an interesting story about that one. And I was thinking Barry said 68 was when it was put up.
Yeah. So a beautiful monument there, and that's just one of the things we do. As Jordy said tonight with us, the new monument going up in the Tennessee Division reunion there in Russellville at the Longstreet Museum. We're taking care of the old ones, putting new ones up. Why? Because it's our history to tell, gentlemen. And we've got to share this about our ancestors. Again, Jordy, thank you for joining us tonight. Any final comments you want to leave with us before we wrap up?
Come see us in Morristown. Once again, registration now through ends March 15th. It's now up to 75. You get a lunch, you get a big meal at the end of the day, big award banquet, And once again, if you're not an SEV member and you want to come to the monument dedication, it's going to be at 2:00 that night, that day, and just come out and see us. And thank you all for having me. And just let me know when you want me to come back. If you want me back, and I'll do my best, and I'll see you then.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again, Jordy, and we look forward to, as you said, the door is always open. We'll have you back soon to talk more about this. Jason, any final words you got to leave with us? Words of wisdom again. You started us with words of wisdom, and I know my friend the T-Rex has us some final words.
Well, just think about what we have talked about tonight, and think about right now, this year, the Tennessee Division is working to repair the oldest monument in Tennessee. Probably could be the oldest monument, period. We don't know, but it's the oldest ones that we know, and we're erecting a brand new one, erecting and dedicating a brand new one. We're going from the beginning to current. You know, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and that's what's exciting to be in the Tennessee Division, and what's exciting to be in the Sons of Confederate Veterans, because this is what we are charged to do, and it is what we are doing. And here we have on opposite sides of the state, up in Union City, one of the oldest, and the newest is going to be in there at the Longstreet Museum in Russellville. So opposite sides of the state. And think of the two men that have been responsible for this. Jordy, who we're talking to tonight, thank you for making this happen. You have to have a ramrod on something like this, and you've been the ramrod. You know, you're our Rowdy Yates on this project. And you might not know what I'm even talking about, but there was an old TV show called Rawhide, in which Clint Eastwood played Rowdy Yates, and he was the ramrod. So, you're ramrodding this project, and I thank you for it. And I know you've had a help along the way. And I want to thank everybody that has been responsible, but you've been the go-to guy for this. Just like Barry Sewell in Union City being the go-to guy to repair the oldest. So just to say that I'm honored to be in the state of Tennessee and a member of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. Just look at what we're doing right now. How could we wish to do any more? As Robert E. Lee said, you should do everything that you could. You cannot do more. You should not wish to do less. And that's what we're doing.
Absolutely. Well, Jason, good words. We want to say this final thing before we get out. Chuck shared this with us. General Hatton Camp, they're having their spring turkey shoot this Saturday. That's going to be from, 8 a.m. till noon, and then Sunday from 12 to 4 at the Wilson County Fairgrounds. So reminder there, if you're interested in that, that's coming up. Again, a little compliment here. Daniel saying a pleasure to listening to you, Jordy. Yes. So you got you some fans already.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And we do want to mention this Charles race that actually in the Confederation, March the 4th is officially Confederate Flag Day. So remember that, to fly those flags proud this week, and then on the 4th and this weekend. And we honor our Confederate soldiers. Again, gentlemen, from battlefields to courthouse squares, because it's our history to tell. Have yourselves a great rest of this evening. We'll talk to you next week. Take care, and God bless.
Stay Southern.